In this tutorial, we will add start stop button to our frame, which we defined in the previous tutorial. We will also add a progress bar. So let's start the program. It will look like this: start, stop buttons inside the frame, which is defined inside the horizontal frame. When we click start, a progress bar appears. When we click stop, progress bar disappears. So to place our buttons inside the start stop frame, we will use pack functionality. An alternative is a grid functionality. Basically, grid functionality works that you define the grid x by y white, and then you place your buttons and element inside of it. Pack functionality, on the other hand, is like a horizontal or a vertical pane where you just place the buttons or elements next to each other. It is a simpler version, and since we defined the actual frame, it is better to do it this way. So we call a ctk button method of the Customtkinter class. Here we input the start stop frame, which is this, which we defined earlier, especially to have start stop buttons inside of them. Command is the method that will be executed when we press the button. We used a lambda function here, because if we would just call this as it is without a lambda, it would start the function immediately when it's run, but we want to do it only when it is clicked. So here you define the text with height, then you place the button with the pack functionality. Here you define where you place it, left, right, up or down, and the padding from one another. We do the same for the stop button, and then we look at the progress bar method. This is a method which we defined inside of our app class, which will basically, if you pass it false, it will create a progress bar. If you pass in a true, it will remove the progress bar. So if we want to create the progress bar, we pass in true. No, we pass in false, and then it goes to this. If we pass in true, then it will end here, otherwise it will go to here. We define where the progress bar is located. It's not inside of our start stop frame, but it's inside of the horizontal frame, so one up. We place it at the bottom, padding from x and y. Mode is indeterminate, which means it is constantly scrolling. And here is how you start it, here is how you destroy it. So basically this is defined, here we have a class of app which inherits from Customtkinter.ctk. This is the initializer, and these are the methods. Layout defines the actual layout, and then it will have a few methods for the class. Here we initialized a new class of this our app application, and app.mainLoop calls the main loop method, which is defined in the framework of the Tkinter, and it will start the program. So when we press play, this program is executing. So how we would actually wire something useful to this start and stop button? Well, here inside the command, we would define our own new function, new method. And when we would click it, we would need to spawn a new thread. So the graphical user interface will not freeze when the script is executing, because if you will here execute a long running script, this means until that script will be executing that method, the actual graphical user interface will be blocked. But we will go into that a little bit later.